If you want to rank in Google or ChatGPT, you need to be creating content, and ideally a lot of it. Fortunately, it's never been easy to create content. If you have a business or a brand, you already have some kind of expertise in your industry. You just need to find a way to take that expertise and turn it into content at scale. We're talking about creating high quality content without taking up a lot of your time. This is one of the first things we figure out when working with a new client. How are we going to take this client's expertise and turn it into high quality content that can be repurposed all over the internet? So I figured I'd just take some time and go over the most common ways that we do this. My favorite way is to make short form videos like this. This is the only form of marketing I do for our agency, and it works really well. We take the transcripts from these videos and we turn it into about 8 pieces of content. If you give ChatGPT, or we prefer Claude, some guidelines on how to write for different platforms, some context around your business or brand, and then the input like this video transcript, it can do a pretty good job of writing that content. Now, I would not recommend automating this. You definitely want a human in the loop reviewing everything, and it will require some iteration on the process to get reliably high quality output. But once you have the process working, you have a machine that takes a low effort input and easily outputs high quality content. But maybe you're like most of my clients and the idea of shooting short form video just sounds terrible. Let's talk about some other low effort inputs that might work. Maybe, for example, you've already created a lot of content in the past. We have one client that has about 100 infographics they've made. We built a process where ChatGPT breaks down the infographic, does research to collect supporting data, and then builds an SEO optimized blog post for them. We can take the same content and create a LinkedIn article and a Medium article. ChatGPT loves articles from those sites. We have a few clients that have dozens or hundreds of case studies they've collected, or even just conversations they've had with clients through email or phone. Any unique data, insights, opinions can work as a solid input. We're just looking for something that's not generic, something specific to you and your business. Of course, if you have any old video content, if you've been on podcasts in the past, those are great for repurposing. And if you don't want to do video and you don't have any old content laying around, a voice memo can work really well. Just ramble on any topic for a couple minutes, take the transcript, and use that as the input. At this point, you might be wondering, but what would I make content on? What do I talk about? And that is just as important as the content itself. I could make an entire course on how to identify good topics for content, but I would start with the most common questions you're asked in your business. What are the things you find yourself saying over and over again to potential customers or even your team? And after you get through the 5 or 10 big ones, start thinking more specific. Think about individual customers, the problems they had, and the best solution for them. What advice do you find yourself giving friends and family members that are asking about your industry? The thing is, more and more people are turning to large language models like ChatGPT to get help finding a solution to very specific problems. And after ChatGPT takes in all that context, it's going to do a series of very specific searches, looking for people who have had similar problems. The more content there is out there of you addressing these specific problems and presenting yourself as the solution, the more likely it is that these algorithms are going to recommend you.